Have you ever woken up on January 1st, fired up, full of adrenaline, and absolutely convinced that you are finally ready to conquer the world? You aggressively write down a massive list of new goals. You're going to lose the weight, you're going to read 50 books, you're going to completely transform your life. But then, 3 weeks later, the fire dies. You are right back where you started, trapped in the exact same destructive routines, feeling completely defeated. You look in the mirror, and you think you are lazy. You think you lack willpower. You think you just don't have what it takes. Listen to me, very closely. You are wrong. Imagine a massive passenger plane taking off from New York, heading straight for Los Angeles. As it leaves the runway, the pilot adjusts the nose of that plane by just 3 tiny degrees, a nearly invisible shift of about 80 inches. If that plane keeps flying in a straight line, it does not land in the bright lights of LA. It lands hundreds of miles away in Tijuana, Mexico. Your life works the exact same way. The trajectory of your entire future is being dictated by invisible, microscopic decisions you make every single day. The problem is not your motivation, and the problem is not you. The problem is that you are using a fundamentally broken system for change. In this video, I am going to completely shatter everything you thought you knew about success and discipline using the exact blueprint from James Clear's Atomic Habits. I will show you how to completely reinvent who you are. And if you have the discipline to stay with me until the very end, I am going to reveal the single, most ruthless rule of survival. The one ultimate secret you need to ensure you never slide back to square one. We are completely obsessed with the illusion of massive transformation. We are brainwashed to believe that if we want massive success, we need to take massive action. That is a lie. The real secret of the elite is terrifyingly simple, and it is called the power of 1%. Let me take you back to the British cycling team. For nearly a century, from 1908 to 2003, they were a complete and utter joke. They managed to win only 1 Olympic gold medal in all those decades. They were performing so abysmally that top bicycle manufacturers in Europe literally refused to sell them gear because they were terrified it would destroy their brand's reputation. Then, a man named Dave Brailsford took over as coach. He didn't come in and demand a sweeping 100% overhaul. Instead, he brought in a relentless, obsessive philosophy called the aggregation of marginal gains. The strategy was to find a 1% improvement in every single tiny detail. They redesigned the bike seats to make them slightly more comfortable. They rubbed alcohol on the tires for a fraction of a percent of better grip. But they didn't stop at the bikes. Brailsford pushed this obsession into areas no one else even thought about. He brought in custom mattresses and pillows so the riders could get better sleep. He hired a doctor to teach the athletes the optimal way to wash their hands so they wouldn't catch a cold. He even tested different massage gels for faster muscle recovery. 1% here, 1% there. To the outside world, these microscopic tweaks looked ridiculous, but the compounding effect was explosive. At the 2008 Beijing Olympics, this former joke of a team absolutely decimated the competition, winning an astonishing 60% of the gold medals available. The math doesn't lie. If you can get just 1% better every single day for 1 year, you don't just become slightly better, you become almost 38 times better than when you started. But here is the brutal reality that breaks 99% of people. When you start making these 1% changes, you desperately expect immediate, linear progress. You expect the universe to hand you a trophy on day 3, And when it doesn't happen, you fall straight into what is known as the valley of disappointment. You are putting in the blood, the sweat, the tears, and you have absolutely zero visible results to show for it. This is exactly where the weak give up. But I want you to think about the Chinese bamboo tree. You plant the seed, you water it, you nurture it, and for 5 agonizing years, you see absolutely nothing. Not a single green shoot breaks the surface of the soil. Most people would walk away, thinking the tree is dead. But underground, in the dark, that bamboo is quietly building a massive, incredibly complex root system. And then, suddenly, after 5 years, it breaks the earth and explodes into the sky, growing 27 meters tall in just 6 short weeks. Your habits are that bamboo tree. When you are sweating in the gym and the scale isn't moving, you are building your roots. When you are reading every night and still feel like you aren't making progress, you are building your roots. The greatest rewards of compounding are always delayed. You have to be strong enough to survive the valley. And if you want to survive that valley, you need to hear a harsh truth. Throw your goals in the trash. Yes, you heard me. Focus on systems instead. Think about it. Both the winner and the loser in any competition share the exact same goal. Every athlete at the Olympics wants the gold medal. The goal did not make the difference. The system they executed every single day did. Furthermore, tying your life to a goal is a psychological trap. You tell yourself, I will finally be happy once I reach this milestone, which means you are continuously denying yourself happiness in the present moment. And worse, what happens the moment you actually hit the goal? The motivation evaporates, and you revert right back to your old, destructive habits. Real, permanent transformation is not about what you want to achieve. It is completely about who you want to become. Imagine 2 people trying to quit smoking. Someone offers them a cigarette. The first person says, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit." It sounds reasonable, but they still believe they are a smoker trying to be something else. The second person looks at the cigarette and says, "No thanks, I am not a smoker." Boom. That is a massive shift in identity. True behavior change is identity change. You don't want to run a marathon. Your goal is to become a runner. You don't want to read a book. You want to become a reader. Every single action you take, no matter how small, is a vote cast for the type of person you are fighting to become. But let's get real for a second. Even if you want to change your identity, trying to rely entirely on pure willpower is a fool's game. You think the most highly disciplined people in the world are just walking around all day fighting off temptation? No, they don't possess superhuman willpower. They simply know how to design their environment. Environment is the invisible hand that is secretly dictating your human behavior. Look at what happened at a hospital cafeteria in Boston. All they did was alter the physical environment. They took bottles of water and placed them in every single refrigerator and food station that previously only held soda. What happened? Soda sales plummeted, and water sales skyrocketed. People chose the water simply because it was placed right in front of their faces. Or look at the Amsterdam airport. The staff stuck a tiny, almost invisible decal of a bug right in the center of each urinal. Men, acting purely on subconscious instinct, automatically aimed at the bug, and spillage dropped massively. It was automatic. If you want to change your life, you must stop fighting your environment and start designing it. If you want to play guitar, do not hide it in the closet. Put it right in the middle of your living room. If you want to lose weight, stop buying junk food and acting surprised when you devour it at midnight. Make the good habits incredibly obvious, and make the bad habits completely invisible. I know what you are thinking right now. I design my room. I have my identity. But when the time actually comes, I am still too tired and lazy to start. This is exactly where you must weaponize the 2-minute rule. Stop focusing on the massive mountain you have to climb and focus exclusively on tying your shoes. Twyla Tharp, one of the greatest dance choreographers on the planet, her only habit, her only focus, was to put on her workout clothes, step out onto the street, and hail a taxi. The moment she was sitting inside that taxi, she had won. The habit was complete. The taxi was merely the entry point. Habits are not the final destination, they are the entrance ramp. You only need to master the absolute first 2 minutes. You don't need to read an entire chapter, you just need to open the book and read one single page. When you dominate that entry point, momentum takes over and literally drags you across the finish line. Once you get moving, you are going to slam into another massive hurdle, your own biology. Bad habits formed easily because they give you an immediate hit of pleasure, while the horrible consequences are delayed. Good habits are the exact opposite. They give you immediate pain and discomfort, while the incredible reward is months or years away. You have to hack your brain by dragging that future reward right into the present moment. You must make the progress visual. Let me tell you about Stephen, a young stockbroker who survived in a cutthroat sales environment using a strategy so brutally simple, it sounds like a joke. He kept 2 glass jars on his desk. One jar was filled with 120 paper clips. The other jar was completely empty. Every single morning, he would make a sales call. The exact moment he hung up the phone, he would move 1 paper clip from the full jar into the empty jar. And he absolutely refused to stop working until every single paper clip had been moved. That visual cue, hearing the clink of the metal, seeing the empty jar fill up, provided an immediate spike of dopamine. It turned a miserable, soul-crushing grind into a highly addictive game. It provided undeniable visual proof of his relentless effort, leading to millions in profits. You are going to need that visual progress, because eventually, the initial excitement of your journey will die. The absolute greatest enemy of your success is not failure. It is boredom. We all look at world-class athletes and assume they are just burning with fiery motivation every single day. That is nonsense. They get bored just like you do. The only difference that makes them great is that they have trained themselves to endure the agonizing boredom of executing the exact same fundamentals over and over and over again. To stay engaged, you have to force yourself to operate in the Goldilocks zone, just hard enough to challenge you, but not so hard that they break you. You must push past the boredom. You have listened to this entire message, which means you already possess more hunger and drive than 90% of the people who tapped out when things got real. But knowledge without aggressive action is completely worthless. So, as I promised, I am leaving you with the ultimate weapon, the absolute unbreakable law of building an unstoppable life. Never miss. Twice. Missing one day is an accident, but missing 2 days in a row is the absolute beginning of a brand new, catastrophic habit. If you do not have the energy to do an hour in the gym today, do not skip it completely, drop to the floor, and give me 10 push-ups. If you cannot read 20 pages tonight, read one single paragraph. You do not break the chain. You show up no matter what, to cast a vote for the person you are destined to become. It is not about being perfect. It is about relentless, terrifying consistency. So right now, you have a choice to make. Are you going to go back to being the person who makes excuses, or are you going to draw a line in the sand today? Take action right now. Cast a vote for your new identity by hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, and committing publicly in the comments below by typing, "I am." Tell the world exactly who you are becoming. Take control of your habits, take control of your destiny, and I will see you at the absolute top.